What is being hidden beneath the Great Pyramid of Khafra? What has been found beneath this mysterious ancient wonder? We say hidden, as these newly established claims have met a suspiciously familiar wall of opposition. One we have experienced a great many times during our aiding in establishing the facts surrounding particularly controversial finds. As mentioned in a recent video, many of the usual suspects, including none other than that of Chief of Antiquities, Zahi Hawass, have joined the public discourse simply to rubbish these potentially groundbreaking claims, telling the press that the find complete nonsense, the discovery is nothing more than background noise, some even claiming the entire project a complete hoax. Yet, rather admirably, the individuals involved in the project have held their ground. Additionally, they have a very different, yet to us familiar opinion regarding what the results of their project is starting to indicate. After gathering the data, the research team used an AI algorithm to turn the information into visible images, allowing us to be the first, perhaps in millennia, to gaze upon these hidden structures. One of the images, quote, exhibits a vertically elongated feature with varying intensity distributions, suggesting the presence of a deep well-like formation, Sikole, one of the lead researchers, told the press. Her credentials, including having been involved in forensic science for over 25 years. She continues, the upper portion of the well reveals patterns indicative of potential helical or spiral formations, which could correspond to a staircase or a sloped passageway. Preliminary estimations indicate that the well extends significantly underground, with notable signal variations at multiple depths, or indeed metal chambers at various levels. Professor Conyers agreed with this hypothesis, helpfully adding that spiral descending shafts are to be found in other ancient structures, such as the Pyramid of Unas and certain Middle Kingdom tombs. Quote, the helical feature aligns with descriptions of spiral descending shafts found in other ancient structures. The team has also been kind enough to enlighten the press and public as to their intentions going forward, already planning to now scan the other two Great Pyramids of Giza in an effort to see if they too possess such anomalous features. This would not only blow the lid off these structures, having once been tombs for good, but prove once and for all to the entire world that we indeed have a history of mystery. However we feel the main motive for the suppression of their work, the date in which the team have pinned upon its construction, claiming the anomaly to be at least 4,000 years old, not willing to put it back any further, yet courageous enough to finally fly in the face of the illusionary, yet at the moment, largely accepted timeline for the chronology of man, by claiming their existence before the already established construction date, made themselves completely at odds with academic doctrine, and indeed, the entire academic world. I put it to you that academic funding is not a tool used for the greater good. It is not utilized to make new and sometimes history-changing discoveries. It is more of a weapon via the exploitation of one's job security. One must conform, used to prevent any research into these specific discoveries. The field of antiquity, an already established closed book, an illusion, one which, along with depriving us of our true past, provides the gatekeepers of these truths tremendous undeserved power and influence over what the majority believe as historical accuracies. In addition to this unacceptable dating, they also posit that they were indeed not the work of the ancient Egyptians, as we too have long suspected, but were instead the work of a highly advanced ancient civilization who met their demise at the hands of a global cataclysm. And although they present ancient texts, some in fact even written by the ancient Egyptians themselves in support of their claims, texts which laid these entire events out in great detail, one also finds it uncanny that without ever reading these accounts, I have seemingly arrived at a similar, if not exact same conclusion. Is this pure coincidence? Or are we yet again confronted with another historical conspiracy? The academic objection to their finds is one we have witnessed all over the planet, regardless of the evidence, regardless of the size or inexplicable nature of any of the sites we are surrounded by, which simply escape explanation, are pinned to the nearest culprit within a specific permitted timeline, as if there are things these ancient civilizations could teach us, which would free us from these chains of deceit. A conspiracy which, for some reason, certain people clearly find far too valuable to relinquish. The question is why? What are they hiding? How could I, with a decade of research, one ruthless in its pursuit of truth, arrive at the same place as the team have. The researchers explained to the unwitting and conformist media that there was likely once a pre-existing civilization destroyed during a cataclysmic event. This event theorized to have occurred some 13,500 years ago, with a possible asteroid impact, causing global climate change and a near-extinction level event. With ice cores within Greenland, geological data in the Atlantic Ocean, among countless geological studies, have all pointed to such an event. Yet scientists have conveniently been able to largely dismiss its existence due to the absence of any asteroid crater. Researchers believe that ancient Egyptian texts seen as myths are actually historical records of life before the cataclysmic event. They quote Chapter 149 of the Book of the Dead, which described 14 dwellings of the divine, which the team interprets as describing remnants of an advanced civilization existing before dynastic Egypt. Sikalo said the team also used the Turn King list, or Royal Canon, which is an ancient Egyptian document that features the name of kings, including gods and demigods, who supposedly ruled Egypt before the first recorded dynasties. They now believe that the god and demigods were actually living kings long before the first recorded pharaohs. What do you think the team have found? Why do you think it is receiving such hostility before even being established? Do you think we are witnessing the death throes of a cover-up of our past, long overdue its demise? We certainly hope so. We will keep you posted. Their research is undoubtedly highly compelling. There has been a substantial amount of attention surrounding the newly claimed find beneath the Great Pyramid of Khafra within Giza, and with no substantial reports regarding what could be under the other two yet to surface, opinions regarding the find have so far been divided. And although the claims on the surface may seem outlandish and to many unrealistic, the dismissal that the find is experiencing within not only the public sector but also the academic world is, to us, a very familiar one indeed. And once you learn about the factors which made us particularly interested in the find, characteristics we felt, if our suspicions accurate, would indeed be found, you may look upon this possible new discovery in an entirely and perhaps more profound light. We have long posited that the Great Pyramids of Giza are not simply placed where they are, a spot picked at random, built upon the ever-shifting sands of Egypt, but were in fact meticulously and masterfully planned and executed. What's more, for an ancient civilization sophisticated enough to have created such gigantic and complex structures to such precise specifications, structures they intended to stand for eons, would you not perhaps consider that they would build a foundation? A gigantic stone plateau that in many areas has evidence to be found of it having once been completely artificially constructed. With staircases seemingly placed, carved into and through the plateau, right into its underbelly, at specific locations, the reasons for which as yet unclear. Would you not create a perfectly level stone foundation if you indeed had the ability to work with such enormous stones? A place to sit several structures, each weighing in the realm of 1,000,000 tons, each perfectly constructed, and each planned to sit perfectly level for thousands of years. This, however, raises more questions. One in particular being, why did these structures seemingly need such perfect alignment? What were they aligned with? Was it ancient constellations? Or perhaps for an alignment going far into the earth below? Or perhaps both? Maybe these structures were indeed built from the top down, not literally, but with an eye to their function. It is only over the last few decades that we have begun to understand just what sort of an enormous undertaking the Great Pyramids were. And perhaps we are only seeing a fraction of their true size, for it is only with scanning equipment and the centuries of deterioration that the structures have experienced that we have started to see just what sort of size stones are within its exoskeleton. As if these feats deliberately hidden, buried, and concealed by its original builders, just like their true function and indeed their true size. And with an anomaly reportedly drilled some 2 kilometers into the earth below, one has to wonder what these things could be. Could they be generating some form of energy field, or even manipulating factors of reality itself? Interestingly, an international research group investigated the electromagnetic response of the Great Pyramid to radio waves. Scientists predict that under resonance conditions, the Pyramid of Khufu can concentrate electromagnetic energy inside its internal chambers, and perhaps more interestingly, from under its base. The research group plans to use these results to design nanoparticles capable of reproducing similar effects in the optical range. The study was published in the Journal of Applied Physics. The research implies that the pyramids themselves may be focusing specific forms of light, and just like a legend out of Lord of the Rings, may one day be found to be beacons, the secrets of its function hidden within the symbology of the occult and mainstream society for years. Its specific coordinates established on maps far later, not a coincidence, as if the eye of providence, the light within one's head, projected forth, defined and created by the observer, a reality far from real. One built rather on concepts such as infinity rather than solid truths, yet one we find ourselves in today. Yet, I digress. What is this thing hidden beneath the Great Pyramids? Are there more? Why are there these structures on nearly every continent? Why were they hidden for millennia? Do the powers that be know what the Great Pyramids truly are? Is it merely just a matter of time before this truth is established beyond doubt? Was this news merely released now to set us on the right track, knowing this realization inevitable? We will keep you posted on further developments surrounding this newly claimed discovery. We find the possibilities highly compelling.